remembering former U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell, who died from complications of COVID-19.
Students are once again free to visit friends in other residence halls. Find out how this is affecting the mental health of students.
And thousands of parents protest against California's new vaccine mandate. Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Tonight, we are mourning the loss of a four-star general, Secretary of State, and diplomat. Good evening, I'm Michael Tseng.
And I'm Brett Chody. Reporter Marco Ramirez joins us now with more on Colin Powell and those who are remembering him.
Tributes are pouring in for General Colin Powell, who died this morning from complications of COVID-19. The first black Secretary of State and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff was 84 years old and fully vaccinated. His immune system was severely weakened by cancer. He grew up in the South Bronx and his parents immigrated to the U.S. from Jamaica. He supported the invasion of Iraq based on intelligence about weapons of mass destruction. But the war lasted more than 8 years and those weapons were never found. Today, the Vice President talked about Powell's legacy.
So many people, and there's been a lot of conversation about that, how young service members and others, not only in the military, but in our nation and around the globe, took notice of what his accomplishments meant as a reflection of who we are as a nation. And I think that's one of the most important things to take away.
President Biden tweeted that Powell put country before self, before party, before all else, in uniform and out. Former President Barack Obama said, "Michelle and I will always look to him as an example of what America and Americans can and should be." Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin described the impact Powell had on his life.
I lost a tremendous personal friend and mentor. He has been my mentor for a number of years. He always made time for me, and I could always go to him with tough issues. He always had great counsel. We will certainly miss him. I feel as if I have a hole in my heart.
Powell served in the Bush and Obama administrations. He received the Medal of Freedom not once, but twice.
Thanks, Marco. USC will grant posthumous degrees to over 100 Japanese American students who were kicked out of school after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor.
I think that it's, very timely that this is happening now, especially over the last year of the Asian hate. I was told that it took 3 university presidents to get to finally the current president to give this honorary degree, which, I really appreciate. And I think if my dad were alive, he'd be very grateful and he'd be very proud to be awarded this honorary degree.
USC does not allow degrees to be issued posthumously, but President Folt says she made an exception because it's, quote, the right thing to do.
It's something that I think we as a USC community should be very embarrassed about and have considered it to be a real black mark against the university. But I think at the end of the day, for the family members, that recognition is better late than not at all. But it's just too bad that some of this could not have been done when more of them would have been alive.
The university is urging the public to help find descendants of the 120 students who are finally getting their USC degrees. President Folt plans to honor the students and issue a public apology to them and their families at a gala in April.
Californian parents and teachers gathered across the state this morning to protest the statewide COVID mandate vaccine for kids in schools. The protests come after California became the first state in the nation to announce COVID-19 requirements for kids in 7th through 12th grade. Some parents upset by the decision are arguing that it's not in the best interest of their children.
We don't think that anything needs to be proposed in lieu of the vaccine for this age group, as the safety protocols are necessitated that are currently implemented, which is, the wearing of a mask or social distancing.
Why should anybody other than me get to decide what happens to my child? If it does become something that California is mandating, I will be relocating out of state.
Moms on the Ground is a grassroots movement that opposes the COVID vaccine mandate. Parisa Fishback insists that their organization is not anti-vax. They simply oppose the legislation. The Facebook group is open to everyone and has played a major role in organizing today's walkouts.
Starting today, USC students are allowed to bring up to 2 USC-affiliated guests into student housing. Residential advisors believe the policy change will have a positive impact on students' health.
It has affected student mental health, like that they were just so limited, and it was kind of isolating. I know for some residents that they had to just be in their dorm and they couldn't go see their friends that live in other places. I think that that was really hard for a lot of students.
USC Housing's new guest policy is an updated version of the one put in place to slow the spread of COVID-19. Students were not allowed to bring guests into their dorms. Under the new policy, guests must be USC students and should be compliant with university COVID-19 guidelines. Students are excited about the change and look forward to a more social environment.
Like so many interesting people to meet, limiting to like interacting with the people of your like dorm or like on your floor, for example. It's very like restrictive. It's going to be noticed at first, like people are going to be bringing in lots of people and things like that, but I feel like over time it's going to like chill out and it'll just be something that's like a part of everyday life.
I wouldn't say it's substantially affected my mental health, but I know that there are many people in the USC community who have felt isolated because of the guest policy, that people might start feeling less isolated because they're able to have their friends from other dorms in their basically homes now.
As COVID-19 positivity rates of the USC community trend down, this relaxed guest policy is another sign of a return to normal for students.
Long-term drought is becoming the new norm for more than 30 million California residents. California reported its driest year in a century, followed by the hottest summer this year since 1895. The multi-year drought is raising concerns over California's increasingly limited water supply. California's 2 major reservations, Lake Oroville and Lake Shasta, are both less than 1/4 full. Experts say it will not get better anytime soon.
The prospects for the coming water year probably are not very good because we have severely depleted storage and very dry antecedent conditions. And we also know that La Nina conditions are present, which means that Southern California in particular tends to be dry in La Nina years.
This year was the second driest year on record, followed by the driest in 1924. Many regions are experiencing less than half of their average annual rainfall. The state also saw some of its hottest temperatures this summer.
We're seeing an increase in the severity and the number of droughts as we're changing the climate and warming the climate. And at the same time, we are drawing more water and demanding more water of our water systems in the West. And it's that mismatch that is really the problem.
Governor Newsom asked Californians to voluntarily reduce how much water they're using by 15%. If the drought continues through the winter, state officials say mandatory water restrictions may need to be imposed. A vigil dedicated to human rights is just getting started near campus. Reporter Noah Camras is there live at Hoover and Jefferson to show us what's going on.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. I'm here reporting live outside a vigil that Filipino USC students have organized in support of human rights in the Philippines. There's about 25 people here right now, but they're expecting upwards of 50 people to come out in support of the event. This event is part of a national day of action to protest abuse by the Filipino government. We spoke with a USC staff member who helped organize the event to learn a little bit more about its importance.
There is a large community who are just really appalled by the human rights violations that are going on in the Philippines. Light vigils are ways to really draw attention to our loved ones.
From what I would like to happen from now on is that USC is also involved in this publicity and really just backing up students in general for when we want to make change, just having that support of such a large university.
House Democrats have proposed a bill cutting aid to the Philippines unless Filipino officials prosecute security forces who have violated human rights, the military withdraws from domestic policing activities, and the Filipino government ensures the rights of journalists and activists. The measure also directs U.S. officials to vote against multilateral efforts to fund Filipino security forces. local Filipino activists have called on Representative Karen Bass to back the bill. For Annenberg Media, I'm Noah Camras. Back to you guys in the studio.
A student-run production company is hosting the Festival of Faith. We preview their play lineup for this weekend.
A South LA church is now the home of 60 formerly unhoused residents. We hear from a community leader about how this project was developed.
And another organization is providing food and hygiene kits for people living along Skid Row. The founder of Sharing Love with Others tells us her story.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
A former church in South LA has been transformed into a 28-unit apartment building. Avalon Apartments on 64th and Avalon is now a space where 60 previously unhoused residents can now call home. Two LA-based nonprofits teamed up to provide this space. Their goal was to get creative with resources already in place to find a way to provide permanent housing for people living on the streets.
This is about really impacting people's lives. And every day we're inundated with statistics. 60,000 people that are homeless in Los Angeles. But behind those statistics are lives, are people.
I got me a place last Thursday. 3 years I've been on the street, sleeping in my car. You know, I'm a senior citizen, and I'm on dialysis. You know, so I thank God for this program.
Avalon will accommodate a mix of families along with single adults. The tenants will also have access to support services as they start this new chapter in their lives.
Every Saturday, volunteers give out hot meals, hygiene products, and clothing to unhoused people on Skid Row. The organization is called Sharing Love with Others, and the founder says everyone deserves a community.
Well, when I founded Sharing Love with Others in 2019, I was able to connect with the community. I was able to connect, and when I'm here on Skid Row, it's like a family. It's like I'm surrounded with family. Sometimes people would ask me, why do you go out there? You know, there's COVID, there's this. Yeah, but these people out here, this is family, and they need help. Whatever you may think, the negative thing that you may think, they still are human. They are human beings.
Maxine Seeley started the organization after facing financial insecurity herself. She's able to run this weekly service with help from churches and private donations. Volunteers from her own church and nearby colleges, including UCLA, also help out.
And these people come down and they feed us and they give me extra food and they bring me dog food. And that tremendously, and it makes me feel that at least there's people in this world that care.
Getting involved is easy. Go to sharinglovewithothers.org or just meet on the corner of 7th and San Pedro any Saturday from noon to 4 p.m. Now, speaking of sharing things, I think it's a great time for Julia to share with us the weather updates. So, Julia, let us know what's going on today.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Today is National No Beard Day. So for those of you who grew it out over the fall break, bet you're kicking yourselves in the feet right now. But it is kind of cold outside today, so maybe you wish you had a beard. I don't know. It's currently 64 degrees outside today with a 48% of humidity. Looking at our 5-day forecast, it progressively gets more and more cloudy throughout the week. Do not shoot the messenger. Tuesday, there's a high of 70, a low of 52. Wednesday, again, a high of 70 and a low of 52. Thursday, high of 73, low of 53. Coming on over to the weekend, Friday is a high of 71 and a low of 55. And Saturday is a high of 68 and a low of 55. Speaking of Saturday, we're about a week out from Halloween. Order your Halloween costumes now. Amazon Prime will not get it to you in 2 hours next Friday night. I don't know what I'm going to be for Halloween yet. Maybe the sports anchors do. Let's toss it over to them.
Well, all I know is that it was a terrifying weekend for Arizona volleyball. Coming up on sports, USC volleyball racked up its third straight win after a successful weekend in Arizona. Swim season is around the corner and the teams are already making big splashes in the pool. And how shaky are the Dodgers feeling after being down by 2? More on sports after the break.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey Smokey, catch!
Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
USC volleyball is on the rise. The Trojans moved back over 500 with a strong road trip over the weekend, and they earned a 3-1 victory over Arizona yesterday, following a thrilling win against Arizona State in 5 sets on Friday night. After dropping the opening set to the Wildcats, the women of Troy rattled off 3 consecutive set victories to close out the match. The squad was led by Brooke Botkin, who earned her 6th double-double of the season with 14 kills and 11 digs. Botkin was one of 3 players with over 10 kills. Amelia Veska and Kayla O's finished the day with 14 and 13, respectively. USC also gave Arizona fits defensively, holding the Wildcats to a hitting percentage under 120 in 2 of its 3 set victories and 157 for the entire match. The Trojans recorded 63 digs in the match compared to 57 from the Wildcats. Sunday's win marks 3 straight for the Trojans, who improved to 5-3 in conference play, just 1 game back of the top record in the Pac-12. They will look to keep their momentum rolling into a 4-game homestand, starting with a visit from the Oregon State Beavers on Friday night.
And USC Swim made a big splash over the weekend, kicking off their season here at home. The USC Invitational featured 2 Tokyo Olympians who brought along 2 major meet highlights. Austrian Olympian and freshman Marlene Koller glided into first in the 500-yard freestyle in her first race as a Trojan. Later, redshirt senior Nicolo Miljenik took home wins in the 100-yard butterfly in under 47 seconds and the 100-yard freestyle at 44 seconds, posting NCAA B-cut times in both events. Miljenik assisted in 3 more Trojan victories in the men's 200-yard freestyle, 200-yard medley, and 400-yard freestyle relays. The women of Troy will dive into the pools next Friday facing Washington State, while the men's swim takes on UCSB Gauchos.
The Trojan men's water polo team continued its strong campaign with a 13-9 road win against Long Beach State on Sunday afternoon. This matchup served as an important test for the Trojans, as it was their first game against a top 5 opponent since their only loss of the season 2 weeks ago to California. The team fell behind early in the second quarter, but the group responded in a hurry on a goal from Ashworth Molthen just 24 seconds later. The tying goal sparked a 4-0 run for the Trojans, earning them a lead that they would not relinquish. USC also had a major advantage in goal yesterday. Nick Porter stopped 11 shots, while Andre Bozanek finished with only 4 saves for the Beach. The difference in goalie play made the Trojans the more efficient team yesterday, scoring on half their shots compared to a shooting percentage below 30 for Long Beach State. USC will finish a 3-game road trip against more tough competition when they visit number 4 Stanford on Saturday afternoon.
And the reigning champion Dodgers are coming back home with their backs against the wall. Truist Park was booming while the Atlanta Braves defeated the Dodgers 5-4 in yesterday's Game 2 of the NLCS, giving them a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 series. Left fielder Eddie Rosario hit the game-winning single off Kenley Jansen in the bottom of the 9th, a day after Austin Riley got the game winner in the series opener. Now with 2 walk-off victories in 2 nights over the heavily favored Dodgers. Dave Roberts said he's not giving up, with both clubs holding an equal shot.
I think if you look at both clubs as far as usage and leverage usage, they're in the same position we are. But the thing is that they've got a two-game lead in the series. Walker's ready to go. He's got an extra couple days. So certainly for Game 3, we're going to lean on him. Our guys are prepared to play through October.
The Dodgers overcame a similar situation a year ago, beating the Braves in 7 games in the NLCS after facing a 3-1 deficit. Conquering the Braves 4 times this round will be a big task, but not impossible with the hunger for a repeat championship. Walker Buehler will start on the mound in Game 3 tomorrow at Dodger Stadium at 2:08 p.m. LA is ready to put on a show, but Will, how worried are you about Dodgers right now?
Well, frankly, I'm very worried, and the reason I'm worried is because their top batters are just not hitting right now. Justin Turner in the postseason is hitting 107. Mookie Betts has 1 hit in the entire series. You cannot expect to beat a team playing as well as the Braves right now if your best clutch hitter is Chris Taylor. The Dodgers left 20 runners on base in Game 2. That's just not going to be good enough. They're in serious trouble.
Yeah, but I think we have to remember about Walker Buehler and how he is in fact a Cy Young candidate, if not the favorite. He's coming off of, lots of rest from these past 2 games, and with a 2.5 ERA in his 13 postseason games, I think we have a good headway for LA Dodgers.
Coming up next, a major Hollywood strike has been averted, but not all film school students are happy about it.
Mientras cantas esta canción, tus manos limpias estarán. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ahora seco. Lávate las manos por 20 segundos como Elmo.
Hay algo especial acerca de este lugar. Se siente como un hogar, una sala debajo del cielo y los árboles. Rodeado de aire fresco y la naturaleza. Todo aquí para que lo disfrutemos y para que lo cuidemos. Tenemos la responsabilidad de cuidar de esta tierra que llamamos casa, de preservarla para las generaciones que vienen. Cada acción pequeña contribuye para un cambio mayor y cada uno de nosotros podemos hacer la diferencia. Hay algo especial acerca de este bosque. Es un lugar donde se hacen recuerdos y juntos podemos preservarla y protegerla.
Hollywood managed to avert a nationwide strike. The International Alliance of Theatrical State Employees, better known as IATSE, and the Motion Picture of Television Producers negotiated a tentative 3-year contract. The agreement includes increased meal period penalties, daily rest hours of 10 hours, improved wages and working conditions, and expansion of sick leave benefits. Many union members argue these changes barely improve their work-life balance, and some SCA students are still disappointed with this deal.
If a strong agreement doesn't get negotiated, odds are I will not pursue an on-set production job. I hear horror stories from people who've graduated and have gone on to work on sets for 16-hour work days, really struggling, not good pay, and it's not really fair treatment.
Seeing just like the disregard you get from like the higher ups who don't really understand like what it takes to make a movie. Like you're kind of like replaceable on a crew, and the students are like, okay, like if we're not willing to work 16-hour days, or if we like complain about this, like we'll get blacklisted from the industry.
The agreement will cover the working rights of 13 union chapters and 40,000 members. IATSE employees still need to vote on a final approval of the deal.
Lights, camera, action. 4 student-run shows will debut this weekend at USC's Festival of Fate. Participants of the festival are excited despite complications due to COVID-19 restrictions.
Some ideas where I wanted the character to spit or, do something with a smile, and I'm like, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't do that because there's a big mask on them.
Staging has become a little more difficult, especially when we have to have 12 feet distance between unmasked actors and masked audience.
Since our show is very audience interaction heavy, a lot of our characters are going to be masked for the whole show. I'm super ready to do our show. We've been practicing a lot, and I'm just ready to get people to see it.
Tickets to the Festival of Fate are now available. The shows will take place at the Massman Theater through October 21st to 23rd. Break a leg.
Well, Brett, do you think you're going to go to the show?
Well, I would love to go to the Festival of Fate this weekend. I'm actually heading to South Bend to watch our football team take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, so very excited for that. And with that, thanks everyone for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Brett Chody.
And I'm Michael Tseng. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/AnnenbergMedia. Good night.